Hello, K6ers, and welcome to another K6 Office Hours, where today we have a very special, do we call this episodes?
Yeah.
Special episode? A special stream broadcast? Which we will be repeating a little bit what we were doing already, the Champions program. We are going to be obsessing today about the champions, finding out what is the situation, how to become, and everything around them. But today, as you well know, I'm Leandro Melendez, also known as Señor Performo, and I have here with me as well Marie. Marie, how are you?
Hello. Yep, I'm Marie, one of your dev roles here at K6.
And we have as well two special guests. We have here Jose Luis Latorre and Giannis Papa. Oh,
Papadakis, it's a difficult one.
Papadakis. Okay.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a tough one.
Who are our K6 champions? Well, part of our K6 champions. Last champion special episode, you met another two of our champions. We were discussing a little bit of challenges that the champions face. How did they become? What are the motivations, the passion? Were they beaten by a radioactive K6 script or something like that to become champions? So, but before we get deeper into that, we have some announcements, as usual, to start up the show. We need to start sharing some information. First of all, for the ones of you that do not know, we, just as Grafana, our parent company, and as K6, launched a combined effort to have our Grafana Cloud K6 platform. Let me show it to you here, where you can have the best experience of both worlds, where inside of the Grafana Cloud platform, you will be able to trigger, manage, visualize, especially, very important to visualize, anything happening with your load tests that you will be triggering inside of the same platform. So you can create a free account. You can play with both. You can start looking around, wondering, learning how to use it. Is very interesting, giving us feedback, because we're still working on tuning everything and having it on perfect shape for everyone to be able to play with it. So take a look at it. We have several announcements. If you can see here on the picture, I think Nicole tried to show this video last time, but the audio was not looping in. I think I can have that looped in. Is it looping in?
We can't hear the
Yeah,
audio.
but we cannot hear, yeah.
Yeah. But this is in our YouTube channel, so they can just either also go to that page, or they can just go on the Grafana Cloud K6 landing page if they want to watch.
This video is present on the YouTube channel. There's a special KSIX News episode where our CEO from Grafana Labs is coming to announce and give some indications of what is it about. Our weather correspondent, Paul, is giving in that video as well a very quick drive-through so that you know what is, how it looks, what is the experience. And just go and check it. Pretty awesome. Big breaking news and changes that this new capability brings to finally having Grafana and K6 in the same platform. And I think that is not all. We have some other announcements. We have as well GrafanaCon, which has been already announced. Yeah, we need sound effects here. All that stuff. Yeah, GrafanaCon is going to be happening on June 12th and 14th. It's going to be streaming live all over the world, and we have several special presenters, should you say, speakers. Marie, who are some of these speakers?
Well, I think one person is being really quiet about this, but Jose Luis, he's actually gonna be speaking about how to use K6 to break your APIs, We also have one of our champion, John Hill. So he's a web UI test engineer, works for NASA, and he's gonna show how to use K6 and K6 browser on how they do front end performance testing. So it's gonna be really amazing to see. And yeah, I think this event is free. It's virtual. So if you're interested in signing up, head over to the Graphanacon landing page. And apart from Jose Luis and John Hill, there's also other amazing speakers.
Yeah, but I am an important. NASA is there. Come on. Now everybody's thinking NASA. Oh wow, must be good.
And it's not that Jose Luis has been quiet about it. We haven't given him even a full introduction. I very much expect you to overblow it, Jose Luis, but
oh my God.
As soon as we are done with all these announcements. So everyone, do not miss Graphanacon. It's going to be an incredible event. We will have some roadshow local surprises around the event. Stay tuned because there are lots of surprises coming around it. And well, getting into topic today, we're going to be talking about our Champions program, which if you haven't checked or gone and take a look, we have go to the link on the screen and take a look. What is it about to become a champion? What do you need? The benefits, what are the cool things that you will get as a champion? Champions, prepare, bring it up. Yay. I mean, it's not only mocks, there are so many other benefits, but there are some expectations, some things that the champions come and do. You will meet here on this page all the champions, everyone that for this year has made it into the roster of this year. Oh, sorry, my Slack is here popping up.
I feel like a chicken now. Roster.
And well, if you are interested, if you think you have what it takes to be a champion, and it's not only like inside of you, like things that you are doing, that's really important, that you are actively, you cannot stop talking about K6 to your communities, to the people, to the world. You cannot stop using it. You love it. Please let us know. And if you have been shouting about it, let's talk about it. And because we are still working with the champion program. And speaking of, we have already stopped a lot about the champion. Let's get into them. Marie, who do we have today?
Yeah, so I guess we've already, introduced Jose Luis. But maybe I'll start with, Yanis. Maybe you can do a quick intro, and then after that, Jose Luis, some introductions as well from the Cat Dad.
Tell us about yourselves. Who are you? What are your likes?
I'm really anxious about this interview stuff, but I can tell you my, with small words, with little words, let's say. So I'm Yanis. I'm currently working in GWI. We're actually providing software for market research.
Where are you, Yanis?
Sorry?
Where are you?
I'm in Greece. I'm in Athens located.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a nice weather. It's Mediterranean weather here. So I hope that you can join and find you and meet you in person, possibly, at some point. So I have been working for more than 13 years right now. But basically, I started as a system test engineer back in 2010. Oh my God, it's 13 years. So I'm afraid, but my passion around quality assurance practices was like, I wanted all the time to advocate, not only, it was my passion to make sure that I can, teach other people or coach people or even collaborate with other people. So, for different topics, I think quality assurance nowadays, it's changing as a level as it was before 10 years. Different roles. We can hear of software engineering test, development engineering test, or QA engineer. So I have seen all this transition, by the way, and it's cool. It's cool because I started recently. I think created a meetup group in Greece. It's not only for Greek tech community, but I'm trying to make sure that I can invite other companies, other people, to advocate at any, for any topic. It's not, that we can advocate. And I have been also talking in conferences before. I love K6, you know that by now. So, okay, we have done a lot of events, and I'm super happy of the events that are coming, this year and the next. So that's me. We can talk offline, of course. You can, send me a message or through Slack in the K6 community. You can find me and we can have a discussion. Thanks.
Nice. I've also added your social media links as part of this video description. So if people also want to get in touch, then they can also get the info from that. And yeah, I've just plugged in your meetup group as well. I just noticed both of you are meetup organizers. So great. It's a great leeway as well to
In a
introduce
different
yourself.
country. In a
Yes,
different country.
different
Also,
country. So yeah, how about you, Jose Luis? Can you just quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. First of all, the most important, I'm a cat dad. I was adopted by a cat like 2 years and a few months ago. It happened to come through the yard, ask for food, give her food, and well, that was it, right? Next day, she was there asking in the door for more. That's the most important part for myself. Aside that, I work as Swiss Life as an architect and developer community lead. So we have a logo, which is this one, developer community, which is something I'm proud of. And it's really fun. I love community. I started creating user groups, meetups, user groups, however you want to call it, back in 2006, 2007. And when I arrived to Switzerland, where I am now, I founded the .NET Zurich user group, which has nothing to do with performance testing, but I like it and it's my main work. So also in Azure and lately in K6. So I'm collaborating now in this year. We started together with a friend, Michael Stipe and Rafael Stipe and other fantastic people, another meetup based on GraphQL, which is also, as it uses the REST protocol, is supported by K6. And yeah, I'm doing that. Aside that, I love performance. I work in performance projects many times, and I'm a SQ2B certified. I've done the work of a tester, test developer, and what's the name? Test manager as well. As implemented my own testing framework for healthcare. That was a cool thing. And 2 years and a few months, I learned about K6 and I fall in love with it. And yeah, I like sharing what I know. So I participated in some conferences, and I guess you realized and made me a champion. Thank you for that.
Yeah, this isn't your first K6 office hours, isn't it? You've been
No,
a
it
guest
isn't.
before, yeah. So, I guess my first question is, you both found K6, even before having a K6 champions, both of you were already advocating it, whether that's, creating meetup groups, speaking at conferences, blog posts. What was the motivation? So I know there's been some um, there's also a lot of other champions slash ambassadors programs. What made you, I guess, really interested in becoming an official K6 champion?
Janice, do you want to go first?
Yeah, why not? I've always said that, I haven't said how I started with K6, like Jose said. So I started 3 years ago in my previous company. We had a demanding project to make sure that we can test, and we were shifting from Apache JMeter, and we tried to find an alternative. JMeter was used by our operations team, and that's why I get involved. It was very mature, the environment, in terms of how we observing or monitoring, performance metrics mainly. We used a predefined technology stack, which was, difficult to make sure that we can extend it or so. So this is my start. I got into the role to find alternatives to that, and I got involved with K6. I saw the, amazing things, especially the part of how you can actually export your data in different, output formats, or, and the part of course, Grafana, which is very mature right now, and how we easily integrate with Grafana. It's cool because, I have said before, and I had a talk before about Grafana and quality assurance. We need to do the shift to observing from all the roles, even, from the quality assurance role, which is not so, nowadays it's a must, I would say, but not before 3 years or so. So I saw K6, I worked with that. I saw the simplicity, how you can actually involve all your teams, from your engineers, the operations team, your management, if you want to, have the observability metrics exported in a nice way that can be displayed. And I love it, as Jose said. So, I was in the same page and the same feeling that Jose had. And of course, I was talking for other topics and said, yeah, I need to say a few words about K6, and few words meaning a lot of blog posts, a lot of conferences, and and so on. So that's from my side. Jose, I give it to you.
All right, just to recap, the question was, how did we get started with K6?
Yeah.
Right.
How did you fall in love? How was that first coffee?
Yeah, to me, it was like 2.5 years ago. I was looking for alternatives to do performance tests with the Azure platform, and Azure Microsoft had started and killed already two ways to do performance test. So I was definitely looking for something external to use, and it happened to be K6, right? To me, it had a very sweet combination of performance. So it uses way less memory. It's code based. The only catch is you have to write JavaScript, but yeah, it's not that bad. That's not a big deal, right? It's quite performant, uses few resources, and it's very, very interestingly engineered. So you can shape a real load very easily through code. And when a developer like me, or maybe you or whoever is listening here, I'm a developer, mostly not a test engineer, but any developer reads a K6 script and you can understand what it's doing. It's quite natural, right? So it's quite interesting. And through the years, for example, last year you started, because we had some a bit discussion in the forums or in the Slack about the open model. And that's also genius to me. Even it consumes a bit more resources, yes, but it takes out completely the problem, right? About how to dimension the load in many places, and I like that. I was also looking for ways to simplify these a full example that puts together a lot of best practices, and that's a talk I was doing in 2020 and sometimes in 2021, I think. I think it was that, if I'm not mixing the years, time flies so fast. So it could be a more that I started. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. It enabled to do in relatively short time something that was complex with other test frameworks and with a lot less code. Yeah, and that's how I got started. And also, I talked to your community, concretely to Nicole van der Hoven. Hi, Nicole, if you're around. And she was really, really super helpful. Your community is fantastic in Slack and also behind the scenes. Your developer evangelist, Nicole and other guys like Daniel or even Pepe, who are not here present, were really super supportive. And yeah, I fall in love not only with the product, but with the people behind it, which is already quite important.
Yeah, I totally relate to that because even when I wasn't part of K6, I was also using K6 and introduced, the tool to our team. And I love when you said that, the community is really supportive, because I wrote my first blog post about K6, and I don't know if Mustafa is watching, but if you're watching, Mustafa, like, he actually reviewed my blog post, and he used to be a developer advocate as well for K6. But yeah, like, the support that you get, is really great. Like, the documentation, it's like very simple to follow. So yeah, I share the same experience.
It's an
Um,
awesome perspective that
yeah,
it's not only about a tool, about something that you can do, but everything that surrounds it. You can have an amazing tool, but if you need help, and it's like
mm,
throwing a rock on the other side of the fence and you have no idea what is happening, no response, nothing happens. That's part of the. It's not only capabilities or if it can support, I don't know, whatever objects or syntax, or am I supported? Am I
yeah,
feeling taken care of? And I think K6, we do whatever we can. All the developers are out there, and it to me also like reaches a point where it's like, yeah, it's always supportive, even if at times some of us may not know some of the situations. Jose Luis, you and I have been bouncing ideas on how to solve some situations. And it's like, yeah, but I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I may not be giving you the ultimate solution, but let's find it together. Let's collaborate. Everyone in the team is open to one way or another trying to collaborate. And that's something awesome that makes me smile a lot to see that you both were experiencing.
That's really nice.
I'm just gonna add something, like, share it as part of my screen. Hopefully, the font is all right. But this is one of your project, actually, Jose Luis. So you created this K6 multi-scenario
I
template.
would zoom a little bit, Marie.
Zoom more. Is
Yeah.
that better?
One more.
Cool.
There you go. I think because,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
Nice.
yeah. So why don't you talk about this? Like, what was the main reason, that you created this?
Well,
Is this something that you share still to people who, I guess, ask questions about, yeah, how to use K6?
I was looking for a way to implement something that could be reused, right? Or start as a template to help a bit because, I mean, if you're into it, performance testing can. I mean, if you know it, it's simple always, right? But people that don't know anything, it feels like a mountain, right? That you have to go, and sometimes it feels steep. And getting all the best practices together, it's complicated. So I try to put all what I consider the best practices together there. It did not have that much success in the way that I expected some people to collaborate on it and make some improvements. But so far, still there. It helps as well to integrate that in a DevOps pipeline. I tried that several times with Azure DevOps. We are using this one for work. In fact, this is taken from work. So my team lead, Philip, I asked him because we like to do open source. Hey, do you mind if we put that in our Swiss Life open source, which is open to everybody? And he said, yeah, no worries. Just don't put anything which is related to business, right? And
Mhm.
I remove everything that was used internally. But yeah, the rest is basically what we have in use. So it's battle tested. So yeah, and that was also the main point that I was doing in I think in several conferences. One of them it's available in YouTube from NDC Oslo. I think it
Mhm.
was 2021 November, December. There's a fun story there. If you want to hear, I can explain, but it's really funny. It's a COVID story.
Yeah, I think this is a really great example of a project that
Mhm.
includes a lot of, different components, because mostly when we get started with the project, it's just a very simple, like, I guess, K6 test, just so that we can get a feel. But this actually includes, like, different, I guess, like, scenarios, like multiple scenarios to be executed. There's also an example how to create and use tags in groups, and, an example to show, like, different scenario executors. So this looks like, I guess, an almost complete project that everyone can get started if they really want to experiment with a lot of features from K6. It would be good to, I guess, update this with like future iterations. So for example, now that we have K6 browser, we have the chaos module. So yeah, that would be, I guess, really great to see.
Yes, it's cool, and I really like it. I think it's cool, and maybe it's time to, I don't know, update it. Maybe with new. I think chaos engineering would be one of the things as well, to add a bit of chaos in there. But yeah,
Yeah. Could be
maybe something
something that,
for
yeah, the other champions can maybe help and collaborate with you too.
that would be fantastic. And say this is very open, so anybody can join. So be welcome to review the code and do a pull request.
Nice, yeah. Okay, let me.
Hey,
So I can
and
see.
I would even motivate people here watching. And if you collaborate enough and you do it, I mean, I think it's pretty cool, and we can even propose you for being champions.
Yeah. Speaking of more workshops, so I know that Giannis hosted an online a virtual workshop on how to use K6 and TypeScript. Leandro, you were there as well. And yeah, the GitHub project, it's also out here in the open. So again, if people also want to have a look at the different, I guess, files, the different classes, like on how to set up a K6 and a TypeScript project, then Yanis also created, this amazing like workshop. How was that workshop? Like, was it the first time that you've given it, or was it something that you were doing internally as part of your internal, I guess, like advocacy?
Yeah, I think it was the first time that I did that more open in the tech community. It was also the first time that we had someone from K6 like Leandro joining. It was super amazing. Really, I was taking energy from Leandro all the time. So
Just a matter of coffee.
yeah, it was matter of coffee, of course. I'm doing internally, of course, a lot of workshops. I have done this in the past as well in Ministry of Testing that we have here in Greece. So I have done a workshop really on other groups in the past. It wasn't the first one. It was the first one for K6. I think, in my point of view, it was really successful. I
Yeah.
think that I can take some feedback from the guys and all the people that joined from the community, but the most difficult part was the virtual part. The most of the workshops that I had done in the past were on site, so you
Yeah.
get the chance to collaborate with people if they have any issues. The on site part, it's a little bit more human friendly, let's say, rather than the virtual one. But it was great. I tried to cover most of the basic part, why we use TypeScript, because in GWI we use TypeScript. I wanted to show this, why we move from JavaScript to TypeScript. So we can have a very, very well-defined framework for our tests. I try to cover the part of how you can actually install your outputs, like you can bring up your Grafana server with your InfluxDB or Prometheus or whatever data source you want to have. So it was really nice. I don't know, Leandro, what's your opinion on that? But
I was about to jump, sharing a little bit. Clarification, had some other duties and I had to be jumping back and forth between your presentation and some work-related meetings. But something that I appreciated was this inclusion of everything that is around K6 ecosystem, where InfluxDB here, TypeScript here, Grafana here, you can visualize, you can execute, schedule, you can be putting, it was like a full framework. And it's something that most of the times I have given similar workshops, and I noticed in yours that the reaction was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool. What other things can we do?" And you kind of see the sparks in the people's minds, even virtually, how
Right.
they're like, "Hey, I can connect this with that, and then I can have blah, and then I could blah." And some other areas that I can't remember if it was with you, if I mentioned like, "Hey, integrating this with K6 browser as well could be a very good way to gather browser metrics, backend metrics." In the future, I mean, I'm spoiling a bit with
No.
backend. We can have backend metrics not only in terms of response time, but
Yes.
monitoring and observability. Putting all that together, it's awesome to have this huge picture, this big visibility. And Yanis, I think you were presenting very well those possibilities
Yeah.
of
I
want to
mean, the
go
only
nuts
thing
with
that I wanted,
K6? Some ideas
yeah,
here.
I mean, a lot of ideas, guys. I mean, the meetup full blown. We are having a lot of stuff coming in. I'm really excited about it. So
Sounds like you should do this workshop like maybe like a recurring,
More often.
yeah, more often. Um,
yeah,
yeah.
I left a lot. I wanted to also show the Loki integration, because we are using Loki a lot about your aggregating our logs from, it's super nice to see how with Grafana 9 we can create alerting, sophisticated alerting for our metrics in cases. I mean, there are a lot of topics, amazing topics. I really, looking forward to show and collaborate on this.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm actually gonna plug something that one of our extensions contributors, because maybe like you, Yanis, or Jose Luis might be interested. So Ivan Skiva, he's created a bunch of XK6 extensions, and the most recent one that he created is called XK6 Top, and it's basically an extension to show um the summary metrics in a way that's, I guess, it looks more visual. It's a bit like separated, so that would be a great way as well, just I guess if you're planning on doing more workshops, then yeah, maybe this is an extension that you can also share to people. I think this is like pretty brand new. He's only shared the news with us this week, so yeah, it looks very like beautiful already. It has like the K6 branding color as well. So yeah, it looks really good.
I can't wait to play with that.
Yeah, me too. Like when I saw he announced the message, because Paul, oh, there you go, there's Paul. Paul shared it with us, and then I just looked at the GitHub project, and when I saw the screenshot, I'm like, yeah, this is what I like what I was using a different tool before called Torus, and it was showing the results in this kind of format. um in terms of the results, yeah, I think having that with K6 is definitely like game changer too. So yeah, people, try this out. It's a very new extension. We'll share the link on the chat so people can also have a look.
Question, Janice, is this workshop online?
Yep. We recorded and everything is from the meetup group.
Then it would be great to share the link now.
Oh yes, exactly. I mean, what I'm doing. That's nice, Jose. Right.
While we wait for Yanis, a question for you, Jose Luis. Like, can you spoil a bit about what your talk at GrafanaCon would be about? So,
Yes.
Are you actually gonna break APIs?
Yeah. It's I'm gonna break APIs a few times. In fact, the main idea is to show. Well, all these comes from some experience I had back in the time when I was in healthcare. I had amazing degree of success by doing not load testing, but the stress testing. So I completely skipped the load test. I did everything in the stress test. So the main test was a laboratory middleware that I was performance test lead there, and did the performance tool part of it. I designed it, and I was troubleshooting it when the performance went down. And when you do the testing properly on the full cycle of the part of the system that you have, so you add that as soon as you are developing a system or software, you discover a lot of errors that otherwise you will only see once you are going to production, and that will save your first. It can save the company, right? And then save a lot of money. So for example, two things that we discovered: one was at 2 months of the project development, and other was at 3 months. One of them was a database design issue, and this happened in another project that I work at. It was 7 years project with 7 different teams, an incredible big code base, and they discovered a database bottleneck at that point. And that took one architect for 1 year and a team dedicated for 2 or 3 months. So that's a lot of money. I'm talking about more than 1 million euros, right? And that, in the other case, we discovered something. I would not say that was the same, but this was fixed by one person in 1 week. It was a database design. At the end, we checked the query plan. It was some indexes were badly formed. That obviously it was using SQL Server. You have to load everything in the memory, and you go. The database server was blowing up.
Yeah.
So these kind of things, if you do that, you try to break your API since the beginning, and you will find the weakest links and fix them in no time, and that will save a lot of costs and also increase the quality of your developers. So why are we not doing that always? I know it costs money, right? Because you need people that know what they are doing that. But in another part, you gain a lot of quality, and you ensure that if it's a medical device, nobody's going to get hurt. Imagine that, for example, the Samsung, I think it was a Samsung Note that was exploding in people's pockets. They had done stress testing. Okay, it's not software, but it's similar, right? You test in the similar conditions, and then you can see that this is exploding, right? Now everybody's trying. Oh, I think I will not buy a Samsung Note. Right.
It just shows that performance testing is not just about I think Nicole said this, it's not just about like ticking boxes. Like once you've done the first round of performance test and you've got the results, that's it. It's a continuous, thing that you should always do, especially if you're going to introduce, new features. So having a tool that will help the whole team to get into that point that it's part of the continuous testing approach, it's part of the CI/CD pipeline, it's gonna be like a massive help. And like you said, it's not just like one person's responsibility, it becomes the whole team's responsibility, which is what I really like about modern tools such as K6. And Yanis has now shared the K6 and TypeScript workshop session that they've done. Like this will be available in the live chat as well. I can add it as part of the description of this AMA. But if you want to see how the workshop went, you can have a look at the recording. I think the even the slides are in there, so which is really great. Cool. So I don't think we have much questions from our viewers today. So I guess Leandro and we need to grill these two champions.
I mean, I was already planning on. If questions can come or situations happen, very welcome everyone to add them. But on my side, it's very interesting what Jose Luis and Giannis have been presenting. What have they been doing? And I think my first question, based on the experience, or we already asked a little bit, like K6, how was that first date and how they fell in love and everything, how happened. But how other things kind of gave you these ideas to extend? As an example, both of you are doing crazy things with K6 and moving it to different platforms. And I would say first to Giannis, who I remember, Jose Luis, don't worry, we have another conversation that we have been playing with a lot. And we have been putting on a spot a very big organization on their cloud practices, but we'll get into that. Giannis, so what made you kind of, or how was this eureka moment of, hey, I can connect K6 and do this here, do this there, do this everywhere, and connect, movie pun intended, everything everywhere all at once, and have all the situations. How was this eureka moment, and how was your mental path, and you were going on discoveries and, oh, disconnect with this, or how was it?
It was great. But first I would start like, everything comes together when it comes to K6. If you see Mari's introduction about me, the coolest feature I'm saying is extensions, but it's not only that. I mean, everything is cool around K6. So, but my path was, the first I tried to, make a simple proof of concept within my company, make sure how we can do extremely load on our systems without any fancy stuff. Like, I wanted to make sure I take the buy-in why I need to change from something that years the company is using and migrate to something new, which is K6, and actually take the shift also on the cultural side. How do you change the culture within the engineering team? Because engineers are working something for years, so you need to do a step-by-step guide for them and show them how cool this tool is, right? And it wasn't really difficult for me to persuade because it's K6. So I mean, all right. Everybody will see. If anybody didn't use this, everybody will be advised to start using it, or do an experiment around it at first. So I started by setting up a basic proof of concept. We had already also our SRE DevOps teams using Grafana gradually within our company for monitoring, observing the production systems. So, the way that the next part, when we set up, let's say, a basic flow for our stress tests, was to see how we're going to visualize, how we can analyze all of these things, runtime, how you can get these metrics. So, bump Grafana, you have Loki, you have data sources, you have, Grafana Faro now, there are a lot of stuff. So I really enjoy, like, even the last couple of months, how nice a lot of integrations are just pumping up. So with the integration with Grafana, I see the community building all together this stuff. So it's kind of nice. I was really excited to take my journey a little bit step by step. The end result for me was to understand, first our traffic based on our users in production, which is the fundamental. It's not about the tool, just use the tool. Eventually you need to understand what are you mimicking, or how you're, what are the thresholds, what are the SLOs, right, on your system. So in order to build SLOs, you need to understand how many users are using your system in the beginning, in the busiest hour of the day, etc. So we write some basic tests. We then found all about thresholds and SLOs to understand, how we can predict the limits of our system. And the end part, which is, okay, we run for hours all this stuff, how we can visualize all of them. Grafana, alerting, runtime that we have violated thresholds, and a lot of stuff. I just say the whole journey. And that's why the workshop, as you said, I tried with a simple workflow to show what are the different things we can integrate. I know a lot of people, it was really difficult for them to keep up pace, especially in the workshop if you're adding a lot of information. But I think the next step is to break down. As you said, the recurring means that, okay, we saw the big picture. Let's break it down, let's say, on different parts of this picture.
It's a big set of possibilities that you can put together all the puzzle pieces and start assembling. And as you say, each piece is a little universe on themselves. And something very interesting that you mentioned, like I have had the experience of difficulties allowing the teams, or that the teams allow these new changes, new technology to be adopted, to be accepted. I don't know if your team had any previous experience with other performance and load automation tools that may have said like, "Oh, I like my old one. Why are you bringing this?" or something like that. Oh, you're already laughing.
Right. I'm laughing because I remember the picture of this. Yeah, we used mainly JMeter, I think, or Gatling in some projects, but the thing with JMeter was, yeah, a lot of people said it's a mature project, all these years we are using it, don't make it. So the difficult part, as I told you, is to change the culture within your engineering teams, because the easy part is to just say, okay, guys, that's the tool, this is the the nice cool stuff that it has, let's start working with it. So but when it comes to engineering teams, eventually working with them, guiding them, coaching them, and working together, as Jose said, all together as a team, then we really see the value out of it. We really see, the bottlenecks that they had with other tools, and why we should invest and move on K6.
There are so many. I mean, personally, I've been a JMeter user, heavy user, and I see the advantages. I see how the team were like, wait, this is just not to deal with JVMs and not to deal with heap memories and some of the other limitations, or the IDE, the GUI. Like, do I need to understand all this? Or I know code. I know that I need to do some requests. And something big as well, some organizations realize that, hey, our applications are not like before, that we had to record several steps like crazy. It's just like we have APIs now. It's service implementation all over the place. I mean, there are still some organizations that need those all things because they are still dealing with old-style platforms. But it's really cool but
it's very costly, as Jose said. I mean, you can understand it's part of your JVM, as you said. It's very, lightweight to perform load with K6, so it's not costing you too much in terms of resources. So going to the other side, it will cost. So it's all about the cost at some point, right? You need to measure it. And it should be like, what is more developer friendly? Because, JMeter is based on JVM, but here we say we have Node.js, you have Go internally. You can use JavaScript, so you can bring engineers working, because in the past, to run performances, most companies had dedicated teams for performance testing. Now you just make it broader, right? And
sadly, with that perspective, those teams became the bottlenecks, pun intended, where you were trying to clear up bottlenecks, creating a team that became the bottleneck, and was a huge situation. It's interesting that in your organization was some good transition and easy flow. Well, it's never that easy, right?
It's not that easy, but I mean, it's a big. If we're talking about a migration project, it's a big one. In terms of how big, I mean, what is your customer profile? Let's say, what's the complexity of your system? I mean, there are a lot of parts. If it is distributed, if you have microservices, you need to design a lot of stuff, and the approach should be one step at a time, as Leandro, you said. I think it's the best one.
We look forward to more of these elements, because from your workshop, everyone check the workshop, check everything that Giannis. And now, giving some space, Jose Luis, you also have some awesome experiments and
Yeah, just
Oh, we have a question. Sorry.
before,
Yeah, go for it.
I believe Jose Luis has responded via the chat anyway. But yeah, it would be good if we could also address this as part of the live stream. So, Amer from LinkedIn asks if we can handle OAuth or open authorization in K6. So yeah,
Of
over to
course you
you,
can.
Jose Luis. I'll let you answer it because you've added some info in the chat. But yeah, if you want to.
Yeah. I already responded through LinkedIn and also YouTube because I figure out that they are not connected. So whenever we write a thing, we can only see that in YouTube, but not in LinkedIn. So it's not working that well. But yeah, we can do that, of course. So one of the most normal scenarios is that we have some kind of authentication, right? And OAuth 2 is today the de facto standard. So of course it's covering K6. You can I put there the link of the documentation. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's exactly it. Beautiful,
Yeah.
thank you. And there that is covered as well, the multi-scenario template, if you want to see how this is integrated in a more complete solution. So there you go, Amer.
Yeah. So I've just displayed the GitHub link to the multi-scenario template for an actual example on how to handle that.
Yes.
It's a very common question that we get on multiple tools because, as very well said, Jose Luis, OAuth is lately like, I would say, more than 60% of every authentication that I have seen lately is on that. Very useful, and it's straightforward. Check out the example. In the end, when you understand how it works, request, gather the tokens, gather what is needed, and then keep going and play with it. So let me rewind a little bit because I think we have another comment coming up.
Yeah. So Rohit from in our YouTube chat said that he started with K6 in early 2021. From then we are totally in it. Yay! Last sprint, I did the POC in K6 browser. Double yay! And already found issues with UI performance due to JavaScript issues. That's
Triple
really
yay!
that's really great to hear. Yeah, if you find any issues with the K6 browser, Rohit, just let us know. I think
But I think that he found issues on their UI.
yeah, I mean, like
K6
if
browser.
there's any issues with the API that he
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's still work in progress. We're polishing it. We're don't expect it to be as robust, but it's still pretty robust. I would say we can do a lot with it already.
You can be proud.
Oh yeah. Not my baby precisely, but I'm very proud.
I was thinking, like, because we have about 8 minutes. I was thinking we can spend just a few minutes just to say, like, or advertise any future events or any future conferences that our champions might have. I know Jose Luis is doing the GrafanaCon, but if there are any other conference like from the both of of our champions, and we can also amplify that. So I was thinking I can start with Yanis's conference. Let me just see if I should have shared properly. This one. Okay. So yes, we.tes Athens. What is it about, Yanis?
Difficult one. Yeah.
What is the conference about? What are you gonna be speaking about? Yeah, give us some
Right.
spoilers.
The WeTest Athens, it's a conference organized from ZRTB here. We have in Greece, it's a member of ISTQB. So they are organizing a testing conference, which is not only for Greece, it's, they have other countries participating. We have a lot of people. I think the last one they did, it was 2019. It's the second one in a row that they are doing. It will be massive. It will be great. I will advise people to register for this one. I will be speaking I will have a general talk about performance testing and load testing from, it will be introducing the audience to performance testing in general, how you can do shift left testing approach with performance, and how K6 can help you with that. So it will be a very general talk. It's coming up another conference that we may participate with Pablo regarding chaos testing, which is
Nice.
not like final, so I will not say today anything about it.
Yeah,
I'm
fingers
working
crossed.
with Pablo, right? I'm working with Pablo on this regarding how we can actually do chaos testing around with K6, which
They
is
will
nice.
bring some chaos.
Yeah, introduce some. It's like Batman, right? This is Batman. Right. It's a meme from Batman, but that's okay. So yeah, we have Kyria Hivadeska, who's one of the people that's organizing. I think she left a comment already. So it will be huge. It will be big. I mean, I hope that you can I can see you there. It will be also online, I think, but just in case, I would check with Kyria.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, for that.
That's
And Jose Luis,
Yes.
you've got some few conferences. Can you talk about
Yeah.
what you have apart from Graphonicon?
Yeah, I'm going to Romania. Yeah, so first time ever in-person conference to the .NET Days, which is I mean, I don't know why they put me together with this outstanding group of people like Nick Chapters, Michael Stape, Laila, Donna Sarkar. I mean, if you are in the .NET world, these people are incredible. So I feel like a bit of, I'm in a place I maybe don't belong, but it's quite awesome. It's quite incredible conference. It has several workshops. If any listening to this is close or planning to do a conference, it's going to be incredible. It happens in mid-April, mid to end April.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Michael is my partner in crime, also my colleague. And he's the father of one of the most performant libraries of GraphQL, which is changing the world as we speak. So, for example, I would say one company which is doing here in Switzerland, what should I say? It's kind of Amazon, right? But with a lot of quality and insurance on the product. So it's incredibly safe what you do there. And I love that company, been buying from them from years. And they are adopting that, and they have got they have increased the performance and throughput. If it costed 10 servers to do the same thing, now they only need one server, right? It's that relation, the proof of concept they have done. And yeah, so if anybody's curious about GraphQL, I recommend if you find Michael coming to speak next to you, doing a workshop next to you, to check it out because it's really worth it. And of course, it uses REST. You can use K6 to test it.
Nice. Is this a virtual or hybrid, or is this just an in-person?
It's in person. It's completely in person.
Nice. Yeah. So whoever is, I guess in Romania, if you want to attend this awesome conference, it's the return of in-person conferences.
Yes.
Cool. So we have a few minutes. Any final thoughts from, I think you changed your background again.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts on, being a K6 champion? If there's, I guess, some tips, or, you want to advise someone. I know we've done your spotlight champion on, the spotlight on the K6 blog, but to anyone who's watching, do you have any tips, advices on whoever wants to become a champion? Not just, I guess, a K6 champion, but other champion or like ambassador, like in general.
To change a bit, I will go first. Sorry, Yanis. Yeah, that's my cat in my background, so I change again. So for me, teaching, I've been a teacher for many years. Now I'm not doing that, but in a way I am, because I'm doing some conferences, I'm preparing the content. Teaching or doing conference, talking about something is the best way to learn. And if you are passionate about things, which I usually am, yeah, that comes with the person, so you cannot change that, sorry. It helps you learn. So it's the best way to learn, to share. So that's, to me, the takeaway. There are some people that may do that because they want some recognition. to me, that's not the way I do that, because it's fun. And I met fun people and interesting people where I learn from, or I get some things. For example, when Leandro came here, thanks to the program, hello. Yeah, I learned a lot about him, about what he's doing, and now, for example, this helps. So one of the things we're doing in the .NET Zurich user group and on the GraphQL Zurich user group. By the way, all we do is also online, so we are doing hybrid. It's available. So if you go to Meetup and look for Zurich .NET user group or GraphQL Zurich, everything is available online. We are using some lights that he recommended because he's an expert in photography and other things. And yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I really like the interaction that's going on. And also you get nice things from the things. So I'm also a Microsoft MVP, which comes together, right? They give me a lot of cloud credit to use. And on another side, I can fight it with K6. So it's quite a nice combination. I love it.
Cool. We're slightly over time, but Yanis, any quick advice from your end before we end this live stream?
No, I mean, most of the things Jose said. I just want to add, like, if you want to be part of a bigger family, because this is about, it's a community, it's like a family. You get to know people that are coming from this great, let's say, tool, and they can give you some help. You can get yourself updated with all the cool stuff. So if you have this passion, as Jose said, and you want to start advocating, you for sure will be part of this family. More swag. Yeah, that's nice. Right.
Repeat with me. Swag. We want to swag.
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 Oh, we have Leandro with us, so that's
Working on it.
cool. Yeah, I think this is it for this week's office hours. Leandro, anything from your side, or yeah, that's it.
Very excited. Lots of news coming, more stuff. GrafanaCon, more champion stuff. And everybody, have a great weekend. Take care.
Yeah,
And
take care.
we'll be
All.
seeing you again.
Have
Bye
a happy
bye.
weekend.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios, amigos.
Adios.